This one is particularly fun for me because I love talking about FAILSONs. So Andrew Giuliani, son of Rudy Giuliani, is running for governor of New York. He thinks he's got a real killer line to bolster his bona fides in the upcoming New York gubernatorial election in 2022. Let's hear him try it the first time, and then he does it the second time.
The Treasury Department out of the public liaison. And the truth is, Martha, from an experience perspective, I may be 35 years old, but you got to remember, I spent 32 years, parts of 32 years in politics and in government. I'm the only announced candidate that actually has spent parts of 5 decades in politics. So I may look young, but I certainly feel a lot older.
You know, Lee Zeldin is also running to be the Republican nominee. He's already...
Okay. Before we weigh in, he does it again. You may have not caught it, but it rhymes with Schmive Shekades. Go to the other clip.
Yeah. So what I say is I've spent parts of 5 different decades in politics, 32 years in politics, right? Whoa, everything from...
What?
So,
what does he mean?
What? Yeah, it's so confounding.
He means that he was born in the 80s. He's 35, so he was 4 years old in 1990, but the first 4 years, he spent those 4 years as a toddler in politics, just like being in the arena or in the same home as his father, Rudy Giuliani. Then the 90s, that's 2. Then the 2000s, that's 3. Then the 2010s, that's 4. And now, look, we're in the 20s right now. That is literally the claim. Play it back. That's what he's trying to...
I mean, that is ridiculous. I think the even more ridiculous than that is this contention that everyone tells him that he looks young. Because I think, like, he misunderstood them. I think what they were saying is, you look like Hellboy. But...
He does have that Hellboy forehead.
I mean, shout out. Ron Perlman, distinctive guy, but doesn't look young.
Yeah. Keep going.
I'm still trying to wrap my head around the 5 decades thing.
The 5 decades thing is like factually true, but the weirder part is I've spent parts of 32 years in politics. How does he determine like which years, which parts, and why 32? It seems rather arbitrary when he's 35.
And can you claim that you spent your time in politics when you were learning your ABCs? Like, how is that a legitimate political experience? Like, this guy has fudged his resume so many times. He was like an intern for some bank in college, I'm sure, and he basically said he was the executive vice president or something like that. That's the kind of vibe I get off of him.
Well, a lot of people are just discovering he was actually officially part of the Trump administration. He was the guy responsible for like being the liaison between the White House and like the sports teams of the world, which obviously, being that all the sports teams basically passed on going to the White House when Trump was there, he did a real bang up job with that one.
Yeah, I mean, never in the history of administrations has it been more clear and obvious that sports teams did not want to be at the White House. So he probably did the worst job possible at that role. Play the rest of that Newsmax clip and we can make fun of him a little bit more.
So what I say is I've spent parts of 5 different decades in politics, 32 years in politics, right? Everything from seeing how City Hall was changed to working in the White House with their top CEOs in the United States, right? So we've continued to work through the Paycheck Protection Program in there to help make sure that New Yorkers and all Americans had an opportunity when things were shutting down to have their paycheck and businesses survived. I specifically was involved in the MTA CARES Act funding to make sure that thousands of New York jobs.
Pause it. That's a picture of him with his dad in his first political campaign. He says 32 years, I think, Brendan, to answer your question, because he's like, it's a little bit of a stretch to say I was in politics when I'm 3, right? Or when I'm 2. That's like beyond my memory. So as soon as I have my first memory, I spent it in politics. That's experience. It's a way to really just, beef up your resume when you're a 35-year-old.
I was in telecommunications since I was 3, sales particularly because of my dad. So I have when I was 21, I had about 18 years. Parts of 18 years of telecommunications experience.
Right.
It's incredible.
Also, I wonder if he, because of his role as like, prop to his dad, is like, that's why I was involved in politics,
Yeah.
which he was famously made fun of by Chris Farley in SNL.